Okay, in this video, I'm gonna do something a little different. We're gonna talk a little bit about quantum computing stocks. Okay, now these right here, a lot of these right here are like the top quantum computing stocks. I think like a month, 2 months ago, I talked about quantum computing stocks a little bit. Um, and I suggested to y'all to not, really invest in those. This is not financial advice. This is just my opinion, but this is not financial advice. And the reason why I say that is because you don't really know which quantum computing stock is really going to surge and really be big, right? They're all very, very speculative right now. You really don't know which one is going to take off or how is going to really play out in the future. I mean, we're probably like 5 years away before quantum computers is really mainstream in the media and in society. Now, I know that some will say, well, a lot of these quantum computing stocks have gone up 10x, 9x, and that's true. They have. But that doesn't mean that they're going to stay there. You know what I'm saying? There's still a chance they can still go back down. Because, like I said, you know, we're just not right. We're not there yet for a lot of these stocks to really take off. You know what I'm saying? In the media, there's still a lot of talk about AI and stuff like that. Really, AI is what everybody's focused on right now. Nobody's really focused on quantum computers. So I know, like I said, I know the stocks have gone up. I see that. It was at 7 and they went to 36, $40. But a lot of that is because there's companies like Apple, what's the other company name? Microsoft, Google, Amazon. They've been talking about quantum computers a little bit and the chips that they're making for the future. So when people hear that, they're going to start investing in quantum computing companies, trying to get a heads up, trying to get ahead of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that, they're going to be on the first train to, quantum computers taking off. But that's just short-term hype. This could still go down. All it takes is a recession or increased tariffs, and these stocks can go right back down to right here, right back down to here. You know what I'm saying? So just got to be really careful with how you invest in these stocks. If you invest in these stocks, well, I can't speak for y'all, but if I was investing in these stocks, I would try to invest in them down here, at the lows, at the very lows. This is where I would invest in them, just to be safe, just to keep myself safe. I would invest in them. Let me show you. See how they went up. See, this was at $1. It went up to what, $16? That's almost like a 16x. I personally would invest in them up here. I would invest in them if they got down here. But like I said, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial guru. This is just my opinions, but I would wait till them. If you did invest in quantum computers, I would invest in them when they get super low, almost at like their all-time lows, just to protect you, just to have a defense, just to keep you safe, just in case it takes a long time for them to go up, or there's a shakeup where stocks fall because of some news or some event. You have a margin of safety, in your investing. Um, take a look at another one. Okay, I took a look at INQ. I took a look at Deep Wave. You see they've jumped. Like this one has jumped 16x within like 6 months. This has jumped 16x from $1 to $16. This quantum computing stock. IonQ had jumped like I think 5x, 6x, the one I showed you before this one. Rigetti, let's look at Rigetti. This is jump. This was at $1. No, this was at 78 cents, 85 cents. It's jumped to $10. Like a 10-12x. So they have done good. But like I said, I think these stocks went up because of there was like a stretch where there was just back to back to back talk about quantum computers in the media. You know, Amazon said they came out with a chip. Nvidia said they came out with a chip. Microsoft said they came out with a chip. Google said they came out with a chip. Everybody, a lot of these big companies were saying that they came out with quantum computing chips, and I think that got people interested and wanting to invest in quantum computers. You know, that got people's attention. And I think that's why you see this surge in these investments of these smaller quantum computing companies. Because IonQ, quantum computing, DeepWave, these are smaller quantum computing companies that will probably be big players in the future when it comes to quantum computers. So people researched, they did their homework, and they invested in these companies, and they soared. They became really, really big and really Billy. I mean, not really Billy, really Bill, not really Billy. Really, they stocks surged. They stocks got really, really high, and you see the proof here, right? Um, Let me take a look at Rigetti. This is a quantum computing company. Let's take a look at Rigetti. Let's look at their financials on Yahoo Finance. Let's look at their financials. Let's see. Just give me a second. Let's take a look at their financials. Okay, so last year on their income statement, Rigetti's income statement, they see their net income for last year, Rigetti, was minus 200 million. I know you see it says minus 200,000 here, but you have to add 3 zeros. And I'm going to show you where it says that. See, it says all numbers in thousands. So whatever number you get here, you have to times it by 1,000, and that's the real number. So they lost minus $200 million last year. So they're not even profitable. So why did this stock go up 10x? It's because of the hype in the media from these companies that are announcing quantum computing chips and quantum computing technology, them entering into it, and them telling the public. That's why this stock and those stocks I showed you have jumped so high. It's not because these companies are profitable that they're making money. It's because of the hype that you're starting to hear a little bit in the media. Because you can see right here, they're not making any money. They lost minus 200 million last year. Let's go to the balance sheet. All right, so their total assets is 284 million. The liabilities is 158 million for last year, which is good. The total debt is 8.8 million. Not bad when you look at the amount of assets they have, and the liabilities are a lot lower than their assets. And then they only have 8 million in debt. That's not bad. That's a pretty good balance sheet. Let's look at the cash flow. So you see, I know a little bit about stocks. See, the cash flow is minus 61 million last year, which isn't good, but that's not bad because they're probably using this money to help grow the company. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, even though it looks like a bad thing. All right, so that's the end of this video. Tell me if you like this video. I know it's a little bit different because I'm talking about stocks, but it's still on topic because I'm talking about quantum computing stocks. That's the end of this video.